Page 3, Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sagata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sagata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sagata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate offerings and go for refuge. When, O Supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then, I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, colour like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Saviour having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the one gone to thusness I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime reality, to the Dharma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the sublime community intending virtue I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 every devout homage. To all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms atoms in all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. To page 15, the Heart of Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time. The Bhagavan was dwelling on massive Ultra's mountain in Rajagriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagavan was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound perfection. Also, at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara: how should any son of the lineage train who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element and so on, up to and including no mind element, and no mental conscious element. There is no ignorance and no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as the truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Tayata gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhisoha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, Well said, well lineage. It is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Bhagavan having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharadaviputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety along with the world of gods, humans, asuras and Gandharvas, were overjoyed in that highly praise that's spoken by the Bhagavan. To page 25 for the short mandala. Sashi Pogi Jukshik Metok Tram Ri Rabling Shin Idi Gampade Sange Shing Du Mikte Uwagi Drokun Namda Shing La Jopa Sho Jetsa Lama Dampa Ken Namki Choku Kekale Centric Ne Jeta Sampude Jezin Mala Zapge Choki Chapa Babtu So Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamniriyatayami.
Sanje Jedan Soji Janala Janja Bado Dani Jazam Tage Chujin Jive Sanam Ji Dola Benji Sanje Dobarash Sanje Jedan Soji Janala Janja Bado Dani Jazam Tage Chujin Jive Sanam Lola Benji Sanje Dobarash Sanje Jedan Soji Janala Bada Dani Jazam Chen, Dagi Jijin Jivi Sanam Chen, Dola Benji Sanje Dora Sho. Kange Dinjin Doa Chong, Gowa Mewa Jimewa, Chewa Mewa Da Mewa, Wa Mewa Da Mewa, Tani Dime Jijim. Doa Jijin Ema, Zobe Sanje Manhanje, Tamba De La Chaze Lo, Nindu Shiva Sanam Guji Niji Nishi Tenze Kanyin. Dola Vemba Jena Lanjin Yiji de Dundu Zama, Kanda Yanda de Metana, Namba Vadana de Zama, Nidishi Dusabaja. Sanje Jene Yum de La Chaze Lo Dunyan Jazon de Javela, Chichen Zevanja de Chana Bema, Dinde Jazola, So de Soshin de Nundush. Pandenza Lama Ramboje, Dagi Ningrave mentioned, Kadishibu Wanajazon. Uzonda Jango Doze Dozos. Danzo Kulon Kum Tisjagosra, Ta Mi Ludin, Ranzo Mi Ludin Top Tandegi, 믹세 달람림 체니 제르모신 송부터네 디링 퇴바치기 중모데 개와상고 인스타 퇴바치야 되네 미유조데네 디링네 시제 지금 삼바상보 삼바상보 시도치기 대치되는 디 최닝기에 300군로 어딘데 직제쇼스.
First, we should assume a good motivation or intention that we are human and we have a human body, difficult to find, and with that human body, we have the fortune to listen to the Lam Rim. The source composed by Lama Tsongkhapa. So that motivation is that from now on, with that fortune, from today on, with a kind heart, I'm going to use that fortune and listen to the teaching.
다 디링딘데 직초기 중모데 개와상고 인삼 가고물와
Thinking how fortunate one is to listen to Dharma, rejoice. Think how wonderful that opportunity.
야다 BD exercise 우링지 트다네 신수 갑이 고민이나네 갑이네 뒤지 배변 체제되는 리로 때문에요 우투 ten this is super knowledge. Chilog new basabot in the Euro. Or the net you pattern to do. Any sim gets to me, Namdo, Simbe, those that sim empathy pattern. Luke and Azadus of pattern. Turns on, change out this come just.
So now we're going to do some breathing exercise. And for those that normally visualize the mirror field, one can combine the breathing exercise with the downward flowing nectar purification visualization. If not, the others of us can just imagine that as we breathe in, our body has a fresh potency from that breathing in through the nostrils, fresh power on the inhalation. And as we exhale, all of the invalid discursive mental thoughts we have are dispelled. So one feels a well-being in body and mind.
That's sim nangi, Zogba. Zogba the sim Zogba the pattern, sim the Chunashi, Tanshi, Seva, Bangmachazo,
Now think that all the kind of defilements of mind have been dispelled, and then the mind is clean, clear, like a clear body of water.
하더니 breathing meditation 데 잡식 본가
Yes.
좀 참가자.
So now, some time doing breathing meditation. So you're familiar with counting inhalation, exhalations.
아야. 다 너. दूसरे स्टा नंबे के छु नंबे छु दी नि सिम युवताया थावलम तो नंबा से 치당 낭 치스나 수 당 리당 라와당 치 수라 치체 소다 수고토래 디시전이 되라 치버치로 근데 다 치리보다도 치버 다 낭바스데 아니 또 셈라야 아니 나 셈라야 아니 삼라당 주바다야 탑람 가르가르 유미 셈디 상하로 야로 당야 탑람 가르 유미 틴데기 다데제 아숭션 요지 좀 때디조 고중이라고디 또 좀 된데 레스로.
So now, looking at what is Buddha Dharma, what is it? Essentially, it deals with something that's taking place. That's a bit bright. Oh, it's okay. Something that's taking place in the mind. So here,
you can move a little bit.
Yeah,
no
maybe
need
better.
Sit.
I couldn't see.
Move there. Yeah.
Okay. Talking about the mind. So talking about some kind of transformation that's taking place in the mental continuum. So therefore, we talk about outer and inner. If we look at this word nangpa, which means insider, well, there's the study of these external things. When we look at matter, like mountains, external objects, and these things, this is really the work of science. Scientists tend to study these outer things. But in terms of Buddha Dharma, what we're really looking to is work with the mind. And that is on an inner level of the transformation of that mind, so that the mind has these states where it gets cleaner and clearer and increases in its potential. So these different areas.
제가 좀 된데 당보 먼저게다 디지세디 또 칸에 용기면 삼로 당으로. 디지세디 심네 용기여데 라트네 심기 디지 두벨라 아니 가르고도 쓰다 제주 숨당 예와도 상고 제주 당고디 아니 삼바 템보고 요레스로 제주 니와디 아니 셰럽고 요레스 제주 숨바디 탑 셈상보 어디 제주 숨직다 예와디 상고 요레 상고도 스타 누슬레레 삼단다 로.
Now, in terms of seeking those states of mind that bring mental happiness, well-being, Shakyamuni Buddha examined, can that come to be or not? Is that possible or not? in terms of the mind. So we're going to look at that under 3 divisions. Firstly, the stability of the mind. Secondly, the wisdom or discriminating intelligence of the mind. And finally, the methods of the mind, such as kind heart. So we need these 3 divisions if we're going to look at this thing called mind and transform it.
저다 semba tempo 디다 셰랍당 탑닝가라 semba tempo 고요자 아니 데 주두인데 탑당 셰랍 쓰러봐 먼저 미 지라 팬도 지야 되라 먼저 디지 두야 돼 삼바 상보 전에 누구고도 삼바 상보 와 밀라 팬도다 미드 가져지 미신라야 삼로 단계지이나 미신당 아니 도와 춘도당 아니 고육당 된데라 삼로당이 미디 삼바 가져 자체와요나 미디 삼바 기부도 와라 말아서 지금 통주라 도가 다디 삼바 상부 여버지고 두면도 딜라 셰럽고도 셰럽로 셰럽고요 셰럽 여버지고 두고 말 딜라 템보고요 삼바 템보 매나 심 툭툭나 미 로고치도 오면도 안서 수수 심 슬림빙 차사스나나 밀레신다 팬토 유파샤제 페조디 단도 욕도 처부 수시작도 알아 제단 삼바 템보고야 돼 니지 탑 지경어도 잔주그 셈다 닝지든데 시가 때 가리냐면 때디 지단선데 삼바 상보 체제 지 초제디 최지고 계절에면도
Yep.
저다 초바 코로나래 이 잠제다 되게 잠제세 라고요 삼바 상보당 아니 직배 핀스미요당 아니 미디 직배 가도이네 수수지고 선마담시 미신라 삼라당게지나 안디 나라서 통조래야다 가서 그래 강에 총하당 디지 부숨서고당 디지 유령하당 아니 직배 삼바 부수토 매바다 된대기 통조래 용기의 인상 좀 된대가 다 두서 야제 당고도 스타디 디 야제 당 탑란데라 탑 스체제니
Right, so we need stability, wisdom, and method. These are 3 things. Of course, we need method and wisdom, and we're familiar with that. Method and wisdom in the sense that the method side of things we need to have because we have this thought of helping others, helping them in terms of their bliss, their mental peace and well-being. So that comes under kind heart. And also our thoughts that turn to society and animals in society, people in society, that has to be well-intentioned. So that has to be there. So that thought to help and make them happy, only that is not really enough, is it? That has to be together with wisdom. One has to do it skillfully with wisdom, so method and wisdom together. But then again, those 2 together alone are not enough either. We have to have what's called a stability of mind. The mind has to be stable, because if we get into disagreements and the mind doesn't have that stability, let alone even, although we are intentioned to help, disagreements can come up and that just can make things worse. So then coming back to the method side of things, we tend to find that when the mind is more stable, there are less problems, there's more happiness in our life and so forth. And Lord Buddha saw this. So then coming back to the method side of the path, these things that we're increasing, such as loving kindness and great compassion, that's not just about Dharma. Not at all. Just the thought to benefit others is altruism.
다드네 셰럽지 차서야디 가르친 리고를 라면데 먼저 내주 망고 지우지 마신베 온기 강에 용기여와 티체는 알아서 딩사 노레지스는다 신유 라비아디 마신베세야 지디 라고여와 그러와 알아서 다 딩상도 이내 다 딩상 그 주제도 이나 아니 지도지 온라인 게 nhập 자다 온라인 게 남들 티켓 또다 도 마신나나 강에 도와라 Kissing on the Parshuga chain, Pargana, Parshuga. Things, huh? Suzu Kawajuni, permissional joke, and Suzu Kargui mit Tam Tanshagdo.
Yeah.
And then boys in a most to Lawala Kawanya has because the young woman daughter, mission that watch it, young the Tigumendo. Any cause similar did work or anxious story.
Yeah.
Namda
Anxiety.
like what Targito in this contest service at that page.
Yeah.
Nanam Jutara, that is sinking me is on contest.
Yeah.
Just that is a seeing each other and Sheriff yet answered, oh, dear what I got, and the love John she had yet. Ni Sheriff yet down, Sheriff Jimena, Mishi with the Angan answer. Dungayung we na Dungay say a Tablana, and Sheriff yet down where the Sheriff Chale Dandi.
Now, it's clear to see then we need to incorporate the wisdom side of the path. So this discriminating intelligence. What is wisdom for? Well, there is just the fact that there is unknowing or unawareness. And under the condition of that, we suffer. So the general thing is that we have to have knowledge to remove that state of unknowing. Let's give an example. These days, a lot of things we do online. We might buy an airline ticket or shop, whatever. Or if we want to have pictures printed, we might do it from our phone to the internet, transfer them. But sometimes when you see people that are not used to working these devices, such as old people, you can see them kind of struggling away a bit, isn't it? Because they might not be used to working that system of download or whatever. So they get anxious about it. And then another kind of branch of that anxious quality is that anger comes, right? Because the anger is really coming because they don't know how to do it. So the wisdom here is we need to cultivate that wisdom to have the knowledge to stop the fact that we don't know how to do things and suffer as a result of not knowing.
I went in France, France. My friend and we went on big museum on the roadside, and on the road they have sometimes a mission toilet, bathroom, and sometimes they with a shower, and sometimes with a shower, and one old man come to toilet out, all wet. They push wrong button.
Oh.
And they're knocking, bing, 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 And I told my friend, someone stuck in the bathroom, please turn on outside. And the outside kind of inside locked, And he called in there, there's some American. He said, you push this green button, And then they don't understand English, and he talk French, blah, 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 something. And then he all went. Machine
This is a clear example of how unknowing brings problems and sufferings.
That the name of things are me talk about Namdo Chen, Tung Show Young Dassu, talk about Tomorrow. And during was a message, Madame, during was a lemon, oh, Komongala Gagi Samare, Mango Soda,
Really?
and Mrs. Dunga Mongo, that is not machine.
And then deeper, with lots of thoughts. You might message a friend. They don't reply. Oh, they don't like me. She doesn't like me. Oh, so lots of suffering there. And between that moment, you are revolving lots of stories. Why it is the case. They don't reply.
Maybe reality is no battery load. Sometimes maybe some forgot phone, something like that. Reality is like that. And your thoughts are completely different.
These many examples of the fact that you suffer because you don't know the actual reality. You don't know the case.
machine on ge and dunge yung yo de da se show je inza ne ta ngwe ne lu dan ba dan rim ba de la an nang be ge ta du cha ga da share bu cha de ge wo show je song yo ro
So that notion of knowing about the true nature of things, the entity, the final nature of things, well, in Buddha Dharma we talk about the view. That's what that deals with, knowing the mode of phenomena.
세상 다 좀 된데 탑람 아니 타도게 디지도야 게 탑람 아니 직딩이 좀 검당 그런 봐 아니 추딜라야다 아니 데누스um 라버스um 죄제 데누스um 죄제 라버스um로와 띵이지 라와 아니 추든지 라와 셔럽지 라와 숨제 죄자 아니 죄제 데누스um 롱베 데네 도데 데네 아니 도에 데누스 제와 데누스um 어두세네 다 죄자 라버스um당 죄제 데누스um 시제 두스um브레스로
So then in that sense, many methods were set forth by Buddha to cultivate such wisdom, particularly with regard to the view of reality, how things exist, developing states of single-pointed concentration or meditative concentration. So these three trainings, and then the Tripitaka, and what they express, both of those three sets deals with that. So you have training in ethics, concentration, and wisdom, these three trainings. And then the Tripitaka, when you train in like a Vinaya, and then the concentrations, and then the wisdom, and what each of those express.
다드네 아니 좀 된대지 심 락바드당 탐람지 심 참모드당 탐람지 but those 코나 야거더라 낭배초에 심리당 탐람래 심 락바드당 탐람들라 아니 치기 류가게 줘봐도야라 아니 단다조 수림지 라와디 체 디간다 아니 뎀바시 다 팅메 테버 투무에 람지림바 파진 태괴 람지림바 디제데 심 락바드당 탐람래 다드네 심 참모드당 라마들라 아니 데부 상아도지 태과스지 나단 저여버데 심 참모드당 탐람 어두세네 아니 중샤스르와 규파르지메 태바당 데부 상아도지 태과스야디 용단데 심 락바드당 탐람지다 심 참모드당 탐람르마니 데레르비시 라코나 네세부차로도 왔음
So then Lord Buddha sets forth subduing the mind in two levels, the kind of gross way of first subduing the mind and then the more subtle way of dealing with the subtle attributes of mind. So in that sense, then what are those methods? Well, firstly, in terms of the great vehicle, in common with that, and the lower vehicle are the constraints of ethics, both physically and verbally. So looking with subduing the mind first on that level, particularly with the causal vehicle of the Paramitayana. You know, these are like the way to subdue the mind on the gross level. And then talking about the subtle level of working with the mind and subduing it, it's the maturation vehicle of the Vajra vehicle, the Tantra, the resultant vehicle that deals with the more subtle levels of mind and how to subdue it. So gross, causal vehicle, and subtle, resultant vehicle.
제가 다디 심라고도당 탑란디게디 먼저 용다로지 요인자 아니 두베 납샤당 지기 바진데 단다 년도되니 먼저 데 대신 남샤도 당고 좀 된데 대신 남샤 송과도서 아니 뒤제 투모행을 지 용다하게
Okay.
송다른 바들에도 하다.
Okay. So coming back to this first level of subduing the gross aspects of mind, the teachings that Lord Buddha set forth with regard to ethic, particularly the Four Noble Truths, are dealing with that first level of subduing the mind, the gross level.
다드네 뒤자야 데스 옹부 미운데네 마 사브르 신제 베나 동이 고당 로종이네 지 찬주심 기 로종 그림바 다시 냠제서도서 용다레면도 와 믹세 냠는 치톰니 tum니라면시 송면도 알아.
No.
안디당아 그림바도서 대배짱 베 사회난 게 상화래 용다 송매 인자 아니 좀 된데 다 양일에 대해서 제라 용다 메니기 최도서 배 조부 시부직다 매우 차서 직된들라 로 나 직단당서 셔런님부 되는도서다 코드메로 좀 된데 양엘레로 투게질 니 배 거야 면조라 차지 배 준비 냠버 봐
Das geht noch.
근데 차서 레스타 냠다 용다 매비 인자 냠래라고 시부 차라라
Now, recalling the first set of teachings Buddha gave with regards to working with the gross levels of mind, which we said were ethics and the Four Truths, these were really taught commonly or openly, or you would say in public. But as we get into these other teachings on emptiness, mind training, and things like equalizing and exchanging self for others, these were a special set of teachings that weren't taught perhaps so openly in public. They were taught for a special group of beings, or slightly more hidden. And yet even more hidden again than that were the Tantras. The Tantras also were again at a more subtle level than the former two. Now also what we found is that those second two sets of teachings, the emptiness, the mind training and so forth, and the Tantras, after Lord Buddha's parinirvana, these, because they were not taught openly and publicly when Buddha was alive, these were the first two to not be found after Buddha passed away. So for example, I guess 600 years after Buddha's parinirvana, you wouldn't have heard the Heart Sutra, you wouldn't have heard these teachings. They would have all but disappeared.
근데 공부로도 폐제 세워제 다들 지워질 이거를 근데 공부를 들으려 수요일날 그래요. 공부를 들으려니 공부하니 되는데 수요일날 그랬었는데 지금 잠배양 걸었다. 세상에서 사무다주기 통콩두사데 지금 잠배양 그래도 지금 잠배양데 셔럽지 파 송자이나 아니 공부를 들으려 지금 잠배양 셰식 지금 잠배양이 아니 좀 된데 이제 더 뭐된 돈이 그림 받게 돼 된데 레스 다 용다게 땡저 코란 점물링라 매비시지 시진기 도도서 봄도서 개동받도서 아니 점물링라 매비시지 다보자니 매비인자 르구유라마 유대버체 공부로도 루유라 페이지 야 땡저 슈제 슝도서 땡저 슈베 루주요 드드게 빼자도서 단다 배율라 여백이 저래다
맞소겠나
지제야 요르다 빼자도서 제야 여백이 저래다 세상다 두체도는 공부로들라다 시진지 도디게 태한데 수라브레 저와디 수자래더니 지진 잠배양지 아니 개개인 소리체제네 안 지진 디 공부로들지 좀 된데지 더 뭐된 돈이 그런 바들 오마 리조트 훅사데 직 다외 주디제디 점링들 양결 다 산제 좀 된데 니와 전반나 시인게 다 딩상하란서 빼자 다 주요되와 되래 제가
What's really important to know here is that how then, if these teachings, for example, on emptiness had all but disappeared, how did they kind of come back? How were they reinstated? 600 years after Buddha's parinirvana, we have the coming of the protector Arya Nagarjuna. And Arya Nagarjuna, well, then the question comes, who disseminated the teachings on the profound on emptiness to Nagarjuna? That's a big question, isn't it? How did he come to disseminate those teachings further? Well, that view of the profound he had from the protector Manjushri. Manjushri, the embodiment of all the Buddha's wisdom. And Nagarjuna would see Manjushri face to face, very much like that. So therefore, it was well known that at that time, the teachings on, that of course that Nagarjuna would see Manjushri and take teachings, and then Manjushri would say, oh, the conqueror's intent on the nature of profound, on the nature of reality is like that, it's like this. And so therefore, at that time, these teachings such as the 8,000 Prajnaparamita were no longer on this earth. They had been taken to the world of the Naga realm for their preservation because they had disappeared. And Nagarjuna actually went to that realm, the subterranean Naga realm, to invite or indeed take teachings and bring those teachings back. And to this very day, you can see those teachings in Nepal, or that place where Nagarjuna...
Text.
The text you can see in Nepal. So now what Nagarjuna did was to then very much clarify Lord Buddha's intent on the profound. So what was Lord Buddha's intention about emptiness? Well, Nagarjuna did that by composing 6 collections. So Nagarjuna is very much seen as like the second Buddha.
다디네 로급자게 제라 좀 된데 냥엘에 된 로급제 제라 양디 배동원도 람지린 베남샤데 제디 촌에 하옥마고니 차르다
그래와
베냠제로와 람지린 바도서 다 찬주기 심곰당린 바다 네 람그 쿠림다도 간데 촌에다 덴주에다 요르데레 가르딩기 요코고요 말와 델레야 파고토메 페제 양 파고토메 지진 잠복공부 두제 아니 지진 잠복공부게 파고토메라 티니 도스체니 니 자진 주유세야니까 아니 파고토메기 드네마 단다다 다 지진 잠복공부 마 숭상jö데 파고토메기 전문을 난 페제 아니 단다 참조 땡아세야 되고다 시진이 돈이랑 원도 젠단도 젠단도 주다와 아니 타고지 미귤라메 땡주도 주다 믹스에릭 남샤 송야다 도스체는 간다 참조 땡아 우다 남제다 주인 남제 시제도 주다 흉아 여러 딜 참조 땡아 디제데다 조디 니가치베 남지름 바텐야 림바티게 두스 양두스 중벌했다.
And then 900 years after Lord Buddha's parinirvana, another thing had happened. So not only, we'd also lost this vast lam rim, or the method side of the path had degenerated, meaning that we didn't have in this world the stages upon which, or the methods we use for the deeds of, to get enlightened. So we didn't. Not only did we not have the stages laid out, but we didn't have the correct order. So the doctrine might have been there, but the order was not there, and the steps were not there. So in that sense, then a sangha relied on the protector Maitreya to get those teachings on the sequential steps of the method side of the path, the vast method of deeds. So therefore he did that. And then Maitreya taught, or a sangha held, these 5 great texts or treatises that deal with bodhicitta, deal with these method things. So for example, we have the clear ornament of realization, we have sublime continuum, we have these other aspects of prajnaparamita, we have the ornament of sutras, and in short, these are 5 collections of texts coming from Maitreya.
아든데 거린친 보인자 아니 제르마신 다들라 되자제 당에디 베자디 직다셔스 기랑슬람린 뒤든로.
So because of that kindness, because of those efforts, then Lama Tsongkhapa condensed all of that, and we have this text before us, which has everything.
아당보디 분석을 제외 두메 그 타야르베로 관서 말레이시아 세계적으로 그자체스다 기승마 아니 주부선소 오부선소 두부선소요고네 구성투선로 되어서 좀 된들 다디디시 좀 뭐지 기승 두신 다 담에 된바티 세지 제외적 군이는 장면신이 주변나 미판 잠배야 미판선다 지금 참고공부도 잠배야는 대사 단다다 지 도마 좀 된데 이 템바데 냠네야 냠발라서 치야 될라 아니 구야지 공부루둘래야 로고치니디 마다 개베신이진 잠배야체 파고토메라야 아니 삼 자제vel 남지름 받는다는데 지금 참고공부 인자 어가딩 차네 어둑스다 참자인이라야 되자제레스.
Right, so now coming back to where we are, we looked at the first verse. I bow my head to you, foremost of the Shakyas, if you can read the text, whose body is formed by 10 million perfect virtues. We looked at this text in terms of the qualities of a Buddha. And the qualities of a Buddha in terms of its cause, entity, and result. And then in that second verse, I prostrate to Manjushri and Maitreya, and so forth. So these two very much had the responsibility of holding the doctrine, holding Lord Buddha's doctrine, and then again with the support of the 2 charioteers, Nagarjuna and Asanga. Firstly, with Manjushri holding the wisdom side of the teaching, Nagarjuna helping with that, pioneering that, and then Maitreya holding the method side of the doctrine, these deed sides of the doctrine, the behavioral comport, holding that was a Sangha. So we can come to remember the kindness of these charioteers or pioneers, if you will, like that.
다 신도 빠바가와 예외 юм스 신도 빠바 신도 소원다 빼데 아 간도 깔래 하고 쉬지 이게 저러 디나네다 예외 юм스 юм 시진기 트렌드서 아니 권내신나다 지 갸체와 띵서버 인자 아니 또가오레스로
Claro.
지상 또가와 트렌디 니 지신 된제에서 디마 공바 지다와 지신 юм지 돈에 뭐네 돈이 이름바 temba de dewa kumbulu du tang ne bedongondo grimba de ani chishi kongba dewa zenye ne pabu thome dini ni de ani bede sasumna yonse thagbe sasumse de sawo sading sala sigwas sawo miche sawo luche sading miche sala pas je sawo sading sa de dus de dan chigre
Okay.
duzu sumla ya ani yonse thagbe ta 고물로도당 파보담에 디니디 아니 개외 юм기 공부 되어 제니 아니 베 점링기 젠다버 힘바데 용스 타데버 딜라야 아니 샤블라 아니 구자세기 인에서다 건드점에고네 구자 싱다 전부 루루 동면이라 구자 세워래로.
So, this third verse, I prostrate at the feet of Nagarjuna and his Sangha, remembering what they did in terms of the Buddha doctrine and prostrating at their feet out of respect. Ornaments of Jan Pipa, renowned throughout the 3 levels, who composed commentaries in accordance with the intention on the Mother of the Conquerors so hard to fathom. So Mother of the Conquerors so hard to fathom, what we have here is the fact that the Yum, or the Mother, or these teachings on the wisdom, the perfection of wisdom, is so vast, but it's so vast, but at the same time so difficult, it's so profound and difficult to understand. So with that being the case, with it being difficult to understand, with their support of Nagarjuna on the emptiness side and Asanga on the method side, those two really helped. So directly Nagarjuna with the emptiness and indirectly Asanga with the method. We remember the kindness of these two who wrote commentaries on those 2 aspects of Buddha's doctrine, the profound and the vast.
저산데라 юм시 저 송라데라 송라서 땡저로와
Yep.
네 땡저라 юм스 라고 김제 가르스나 배낭하는 저 юм세데 아마르와 아메 셰서레와 저산저 대 베베게 시그널라 셰서 시브제로와 저산 아메 셰서 юм레 용 юм이자 델라이다 책도서 베데 셰세 토네 베 쿠샵치고 천대로와 책디 베 여럽게 책 천대요로와 네 가와이나 게메 쳬쳬쳬 짠냐나 되나 천자시어도 가셔 미딜 가고 쳬쳬 상물로 쳬쳬쳬라 되나 데네 베데 미 구슈멘 요로지 미
구슈 메바로
구슈멘 요미 상고 미 상도 상도로지 통구도 미 상된 요로시라 장난셔된 요소시 아니 юм세데다 юм 빼나가서 юм딜라데네 부구지고요라 부구도서 아말라데네 지고요라 제나시 아니 지 독배 연대디게디 슝딜라데네 퉁네 산제다 chanjusim 독바도 제세 chanjusim 바식도 제세 chanjusim라 제베세 산제기세는 가려서는 юм레 통거래 юм 가려서는 юм 시진레 아니 chanjusim 율레 통거인다 근데 제베세 자로요라 어두스니 юм라고 юм젠데 디네가 첨부래 디직시나야고 요레스라.
On the bottom line of the 3rd paragraph, where it says, on the mother of the conqueror so hard to fathom.
English로 상물로 마다마다냐로.
Yeah. Yeah. In English, here we're talking about the mother. In the Tibetan, it's a yum. So the Tibetan word yum is honorific for mother. And it has a very important meaning here in Tibetan. When we talk about the mother, we call her the yum, or like the consort, or the wisdom aspect, or the feminine aspect, as opposed to calling someone you, or there's another name for woman in Tibetan, which is not so respectful. And some people just call women like that all the time. out of habit, I think that's quite not a good habit. But normally the mother would be called this yum. So this yum, why does it have a special connotation? Well, because the mother, or this honorific term yum, the mother gives birth to the children. And in this sense, the yum, or this teaching on the genre of the perfection of wisdom, it gives birth to the Buddha's children, the bodhisattvas. So it's in dependence on the wisdom that they get, one aspect of enlightenment. So it's very important to remember the mother of the conquerors is this kind of example here.
지금 당 알아서 된주 되는 퇴바체의 삼로당 공점나 감상줄을 수수줄에 연된 똑같은데 깨나 아니 윤기 세차로 하면서 좋아 윤기 세차로 하셔서
You know, if we listen to the doctrine, if we listen to the teachings, and then we generate some kind of insight into reality, then we're like the children of that mother. We're the children of that wisdom.
다들 신대 청분이네 레교에 삼모다와 제주제वे라 만어 용수조에 내대에 담배지세 말네 제라 뒤송도 신대 청분이세다 공부훈도다 파고토메 니라 신대 청분이소래 다자 신대세에 다 응마 다콜로다 도와 인산 도와 다콜로다 어디래요 제니 라고에 가르스나 다 랑가디 응마 신대 콜로르세 랑가 도마전된데 이거돌라 아니 추념는 시야데 빼데 니맛 서버 니마셔와 나시요로 안데네다 마 도마전된데 냥을 로망보도네 아니 냠네 랑가디 간라다 미도에 면조차 칭다 콜로도에 면조차로 아니 고몰루두기 양자 랑가드 추스여제 다 모더도서요 나시 서로 디나시 파고토메ye 양 랑가도서 면조들라 아니 지기 매알 베도데고 슈지 서로 디인상 신대 전문이사데 네 고물로도단 파고토메 니네 렉괴베스데 렉스데 렉과 약과 데벨 네 고물로도단 파고토메 니레 네 렉셰 매드 총화 된데지기 네 유가 여대바데 가르스나 사모타주다 자진주주스로
Okay.
사모타와 동만이다 자진 바르치메 람지 주주디 마노 용스조베 네도 마노로 사데데 내가 첨보래 마노로 사데 네 오마노 타마노와 저 구리마노와지 요스 조베 네 뒤뒤베 담베즈데마 다 조지반데 아디샤데라 곰블루르네 주베 아니 타벨람지린 바티제 마노와 유된죠 아니 파고토메네 주지진 참보고네 주베 네 자주엘람지린 바티제데 마노베 네 담제 뒤된죠 담바 담베 준지스 담바 즈세야 되간조 노르룩살란 즈세그와 안 되게 베즈 다보자니나 신데 아니 반대 아디샤레스 딜레야 아니 쿠베두기 송거다
So then, staying with that fourth verse down, the last line, the excellent lineages descending from the two great charioteers. Here, what we had at the time of Shakyamuni Buddha was the Dharma spreading in the world like this sun. But then after Lord Buddha's parinirvana, things started to degenerate. And very much like where there once was a road with light in terms of Dharma, that road was now no more. So then when we had the coming of these two, what are called great charioteers, alluding to Nagarjuna and Asanga, they made a new road again where the road had disappeared. So that's, that one, the analogy given that that's what they had at that time in India, chariots that used to travel on the roads. So then making those two charioteers spreading the doctrine again. Of course, we know that Nagarjuna is spreading that the road of the profound, and then Asanga's doing the method side of the path, the vast. And they're doing this in a way that is pure in entity, as in it's unmistaken, but it's also correct in its order. So there's no mixing up of the order. So they're doing this in completely and unmistakenly. And then Atisha, latterly what he did, he came along and held the treasury of the instructions, which means like when you have a treasure house, everything that you need is there. All of the instructions of the Buddha doctrine are in that treasure house, and he gathered together the important points also completely and unerringly like that. On what did he gather together? These two streams of the charioteers, as we mentioned, Nagarjuna with the profound and a Sangha with the method.
람지 ngô 만어와 친이 만어와 디 셰tum니 지고고요. 안 대자마제베 장가도도 마둑된 거로 장가도도 다다다다 ngô 만어와 장 만어와 셰데 장가 만어와 아니 디 구림도도 중나 아니 잘와다 저장 구림 만어와 셰tum니지 제주도 뒤경 결혼서 개겐세도 됐다고 그러와 아지 민지고요당 질다요 말다다 디 셰야디 셰야디다 셰딩은 좀 암조 고그러와 이제 표적에 줄라 똑바 가려면 대응은 표적체 따제체나 다 저런서 개겐 센디지니야 두서 요 말에 다 가르다서는 단다 좀 된데 이 간상마도 취을때 책라마도 전라다 송도 되마시 간상들마다 그 간데미 퀘션저 취데 양다고지 레도면도 됐다 취 양다고도 오만어 참만어 구르만어 다 대야 책라마다 전라다 서봐 책년보 이제 다셔 보실마다 전다다다 레도 있다스 좀 된데 이 랍자자요랑 안들라 디네가 첨보레스 디 랍자 첨보레스 디 만어 용스 쪽에 두베스야 돼.
Right, so disseminating Buddha Dharma in an completely in an unmistaken way. This is a very important point. And often when we went to see our teachers, they would reiterate this point to us. If you're looking at the Buddha Dharma being valid, you have to make sure that the entity is valid vis-a-vis what's being taught. But also it should be unmistaken. So it should be unmistaken, unerring, but also the stages that it's taught should not be mixed up. There should be a proper sequence. And this is very important because the time now, it's quite difficult to know what the insights of your spiritual master has. It's quite good to kind of check up and discriminate that. But what you can do is very much thoroughly discriminate the Dharma they're teaching. So from that, we have this thing called the four reliances. You don't rely on the person, you rely on what they're teaching. You don't rely on the words, you rely on the meaning. And so it goes like this. And when you're relying on what they're teaching, you're looking at it in terms of the nature of it, the unerring nature of it, the stages of it, and so forth. So this is very important. So that's what it means in this part of the fourth verse, where it says, gathering the important points of the doctrine in a complete way, unmistaken way.
저단다 람림세 데 펄려야다. 타녀용단데 다 조디 징에 람림 람냠nen다 요레데레 다 람림세기 타녀용단데 조지반데 디샤지 람드ön chanju 람지 드마사 제네네 람림세다 타녀데 용라로데 두총브레스로.
So now we come to this. Well, we coined this phrase lamrim, these graduated stages on the path to enlightenment. Well, that convention, or let's say that generic, that term came from Joji Atisha's composing this text, Lamp for the Path. That's where it would have started, these steps on the way to enlightenment.
다 니와디 다 베제 벽이 다 람림 덴베 따고 저 까담바네마 저거 디젤로 숨거래. 란장 송라군라 따베미 계산 타와드베 중원주 제베주베 타게제 센제 신인 남라 구베 뒤스 다 람림기 주베 라마디젤레 란장 송라 군라 따베미 람장 슝 람장스 타예바 자체와 딘데기 아니 송라블라 따베미 계산 타와드바스 계산세디 dü자 개바단 템바로 dü자 레다유니 대와유니 아니 지겨왕아마니 아니 지 람림다 딘데 퇴야라야 파자당 아니 지 무구유니 두절라 계산시고 계산 다데 티 가르팅 거래스나 베 dü제딜레 대와유와 지다 아니 데 강아라도 다 세부도 와데 누절라다 대외장 세부도 그래서는 미가시 최도라 용즈체 람림다 딘데 거시는 녀업제 벼루고다 다다나 알아서 데이터다 직전에다 로가 뇌기 세단한테 다다지 콘서 랭기메 인기로 아니 콘서다 녀업제다 기루만 거셔지 연구요 말다. 좋아. 연구요 말. 그래서는 레, 레 매다 된 거. 레. 좋아. 최 람림 그 진들레 마야야 돼. 탑적으로. 좋아. 탑적으로 그래. 제가 소남 멤버 차로. 좋아. 이제 개와다 계산해야 되나 주고요 말다. 저런서 내 우주를 시켜야 돼. 저런서 계산 날려야 주도 그래.
So the bottom, let's go to then this verse at the bottom of the page then. So then we've looked at the Tisha and the appearance of the lamp of the path text being the beginning of the Lamrim, but then following on from that down through Dromtompa, his heart son. Then we come to the spiritual teachers. So as it says at the bottom of page 3, I prostrate respectfully to the spiritual teachers, eyes that see the infinite scriptures, who with skillful means, moved by compassion, clarify the supreme entryway for the fortunate traveling to the city of liberation. Here, the eyes that see all the vast infinite scriptures, these spiritual teachers, and then clarify supreme entryway for the fortunate traveling to liberation. Here, the fortunate students, it's talking about the students that have the opportunity and fortune to meet these teachings on the Lamrim and meet these teachings on the stages of the path to enlightenment. Now, that can only come about due to past lives' imprints. One would have to have had a connection in terms of past life imprints to come in contact with these teachings on the Lamrim. That is not easy. To give an example, some people might come to this center and hear 1 or 2 classes and then think it's dull and it's boring and then leave. Well, that's very much the case because of karma. And one is really connecting with these teachings due to one's past karma and something we call merit. It's not easy, is it? I mean, without the merits, you're not going to come in contact with such a teaching. So then, saying that, if you put in a bit of effort and kind of push it a bit, you might fall under that bracket of fortunate.
어디로 나 잠린 개와윤지 수지지 님배 반대로는 항해와 루루 토민이는 람이 렉셔 chanjulam 바니 기고되는 말로고 인사다 식도도 거대오래 기고되는사 기고사들와 기고되는 말로고 나사데 기고사데 기고사데 가르쳐고서는 노래 잠블링 되봐 감들라 되감 수감 수메감 대진 숨체오래와 뇌지 직된 다 뇌주라 감숨제 주기 sem제들라 도리tuk체와 도리tuk체 주기 sem제들라 도리tuk 뇌지 직된들라 는 되감 수감 수메감 대진 숨체오래와 아디 체사상 대체사되다 되바네 마 신이 겨울내니들라 되발라 겨울내니 직체로 되바네 술로내니 니체 되바네 수메를 겨울내니 숨차송아 되바네 다데나시 수네 신이 술을 겨울내니 직 수네 신이 되발라 겨울내니 직 수네 신이 수메를 겨울내니 tuk차송아 아 수메네 신이 수메를 겨울내니 직 수메네 신이 되발라 겨울내니 직 수메네 신이 술을 겨울내니 직 된대기 딜라 기구사데 어딘데기 네 되던고 뭐 기구 되던 말로 꼬면나 쓰는다 되게 되던 꼬야데 그래서는 담바른제 온게 겨워데 슝산동지 추되지 반데 레과시에 자존야 인스타 세상 기구 되던 도비야라야 담바른제 온게 겨워스다다 찬줄람지린 바도서 네 건조게 다 되던 도비야게 다 조데레 송거다로
Krishna di shloka kamo di marewa kebo gikola.
Zamling kawayin ji zuyi jen nyembe pande zhona hanga lulu tongmi yin lam lekshe chanju lam ji rima ni jigu dodon malu kongwa nangsi wa tere. Chanju lam ji rimba di jigu dodon guya ge dambaran jen ongu jebu re song re.
So those fortunate to traveling the path to liberation. So the next verse, the stages of the path to enlightenment are the excellent lineage handed down from Nagarjuna and the Sangha, crown ornaments of the wise of Jambudvipa, and banners of fame resplendent amongst transmigratory beings. So then the wise of Jambudvipa, this world system, what this is talking about is our world system is made up of like three, how do you say, there is like the world of this world system and then the beings that inhabit it. And this world system is made up of three, I guess you say three realms. So there's like the desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realm in terms of the world structure. And then the 6 types of migrators that make up those worlds. So therefore, looking at the Nagarjuna and Asanga, how they are the ornaments for all of those beings, on this, teaching them the path to enlightenment. So those transmigratory beings are the ones that go through change within that context then of the vessel-like universe and the content-like beings that inhabit it. So let's look at these 3 levels. So you've got the desire realm. We said it was made up of these 3 realms. And then you've got the form realm, and then you've got the formless realm. So from the desire realm, beings can transmigrate to the form realm and the formless realm. And from the form realm, beings can transmigrate to the desire realm and the formless realm. And from yet the formless realm, beings can transmigrate again to the form and desire realms. So that is talking about these transmigratory beings in the world. Deva. And then they can... Yeah. This is good. Huh? Yeah, so actually I was mistaken. So if you just take the first desire realm that we're in, you can go from desire realm to desire realm again. You know, you transmigrate within that realm, or you can go from desire realm to form or formless realm. So each of those 3 has 3 possibilities to it, making 9 possibilities. Yeah, this is an enumeration of 9, and this is how we cycle as transmigrators in the context of the world.
Gyazo nala churen sangma duyo royo pena gyazo nala churen sangma duyo nanshin ene lamrim di nala ya da shung kabyo nga da jo chazanji lamrim nala duyo royo re so odi shero da.
Right, so just as the ocean has all of the water in it that is like subsumed in it, then all of the excellent teachings are subsumed in the lamrim. We're at this one. This instruction, the King of Powerful Jewels, fulfills desired aims of the 9 types of beings. It is an ocean of glorious and excellent explanations, gathering rivers of 1,000 fine scriptures.
Oda kising anzo dingoyondel da dedi tsikdi dewa jilma jibdine ma jil shigichi. Da tenjo tenjendi tari pejen dundadina chiranzo lamrim des lo na. Lamrim karayo nandigre, lamrim chimoy nandigre, namri labjayo nandigre. Langjayo digre digado ki tenjo tenjedi ne des lo simerwa tajime dinema tsikdi je develops ja ne tenjo tenjelma
yes. So the following week we should probably do our homework on perfect human rebirth. So whether we study the Great Lamrim text or another middle version, that's fine, but we should know something about perfect human rebirth. Study it. So we can look at this verse. We didn't get the chance to read the text through together last week. We'll do that now. Slowly. We can read together. I bow my head to you, foremost of the Shakyas, whose body is formed by 10 million perfections, virtues and excellence, whose speech fulfills the hopes of infinite transmigratory beings, whose mind perceives all objects of knowledge, abust to Manjushri and Maitreya, whose emanations sport in innumerable universes, assuming the responsibility of all the conqueror's conduct. You are the supreme sons of the peerless teacher. I prostrate at the feet of Nagarjuna and Asanga, ornaments of Jambudvipa, renowned throughout the three levels, who compose commentaries in accordance with the intention on the mother of conquerors, so hard to fathom. I bow to Dikankara Atisha, holder of the treasury of instructions that gathers together important points completely and unmistakably on the paths of profound view and vast conduct, the excellent lineages descending from the two great charioteers. I prostrate respectfully to the spiritual teachers, eyes that see all the infinite scriptures, who with skillful means, moved by compassion, clarify is at the path to enlightenment. Crown ornaments of the wise, Tembu, and banners of fame resplendent among transmigratory beings. This instruction, the king of powerful jewels, fulfills all the desired aims. It is an ocean of glorious explanations, gathering the rivers of 1,005 schools. Things are without contradiction. Easily find the intention of the conqueror and be protected from the abyss of the very faulty conduct. Therefore, this supreme instruction is relied on by many fortunate ones, the wise beings of India and Tibet. What analytical person would not be captivated by the stages of the path of the three types of beings? Contemplate the meaning of this method that gathers the essence of all the scriptures, even teaching or hearing a single session to make out as great waves of the essential benefits of explaining all wisdom to the body of Dharma. Rely correctly and with effort, in thought and action on the Holy Spiritual Friend and the foundation perfectly bringing auspiciousness for all excellent collections of this and future lives. Having seen this, even at the cost of your life, and please them with practice in this way. I, seeking liberation, also practice in this way. This body of leisure, precious and the ways of enjoy, is found but once, though difficult to obtain again. In this way, realize the whole. You must take lessons day and night. You, the perfect guru, practice in this way. I am seeking liberation, so practice in this way. Although there is no certainty that after death you will not be born, bad migrations, protect you from this. And depend on the correct practice of that to be adopted and that to be rejected. You, the perfect guru, practice in this way. I am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way until you attain a body with pure characteristics. You will not make progress in your practice of the supreme path, train in the causes for becoming free of these impurities. Actions, downfalls and stains. It is particularly important to purify karmic obscurations. Therefore, continuously cherish reliance on purification with the four forces. You, the perfect guru, practice in this way. I am seeking liberation, so practice in this way. If you do not put effort into contemplating true sufferings, the faults of samsara, you will not develop the wish for liberation. If you do not contemplate true origins, the steps of entering into samsara, you will not understand the of samsara. Rely on the earnest, definite emergence from samsara and cherish the knowledge of what binds you to samsara. Guru practice in this way. I am seeking liberation will also practice in this way. The generation of the mind is the central post of the Mahayana path, the base and support of great waves of conduct. To the two collections, the treasure of merit gathering infinite virtue. Having understood this, children of the conquerors, maintain deep and precious supreme mind. You, the perfect Guru, practice in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, would also practice in this way. Generosity is a wish-fulfilling jewel, satisfying the hopes of transmigratory beings, the supreme weapon cutting the knot of miserliness, the activity of the children of the conquerors that strengthens courage without dismay, and the basis of being renowned in the 10 directions. Having understood this, the wise rely on the excellent path of giving away their bodies, possessions, and virtue. Practice in this way. Morality is water cleansing the stains of faulty behavior, moonlight dispelling the hot torment of the afflictions. Splendid as Mount Meru in the midst of the 9 types of being. It gathers all transmigratory beings with no threat of force. Having understood this, holy beings guard morality correctly taken as they do their eyes. You, the perfect Guru, practice in this way. I, who is seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Patience is the finest ornament of the powerful, the supreme of all hardships, counteracting the torment of the afflictions. A Garuda against the enemy, snake of hatred, a thick armor against the weapon of harsh speech. Of supreme patience in many ways. You, the perfect Guru, practice in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. When you don armor like effort, steady and immovable, the qualities of scripture and realizations. Actions are undertaken will be accomplished as desired. Having understood this, conquerors' children put forth waves of effort in dispelling laziness. Practice in this way. I am seeking also practice in this way. Concentration is the king ruling the mind. When placed, it is immovable as Mount Meru. When sent forth, it engages all virtuous objects. It induces the great bliss of a serviceable body and mind. Having understood this, the lords of yogis rely continuously on the meditative stabilization. Distraction. You, the perfect Guru, will also practice in this way. Wisdom is an eye seeing profound thusness, the path eradicating the root of existence, a treasury of qualities praised in all the scriptures, and renowned as a supreme lamp dispelling the darkness of ignorance. Having understood this, the wise who desire liberation practice in this way. I am seeking liberation, so practice in this way. One pointed concentration alone is not considered to be able to cut the roots of samsara. Wisdom separated from the path. Having mounted the wisdom that reflects on the real order of existence. Upon the horse of steadfast calm abiding, with a sharp weapon of logic of the middle way free of the extremes, destroy all mental fabrications grasping at extremes. With vast wisdom analyzing in this way, increase the wisdom that realizes suchness. Seeking liberation will also practice in this way. The meditative stabilization achieved by one-pointed meditation is not enough. Would the individual investigation of proper analysis generate the meditative stabilization that abides firm and immovable on the mode of existence? Having seen this, understand how wonderful are those who endeavor in special insight. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. In meditative equipoise, emptiness is like space. In post-meditation, whereby the perfect conduct of the conqueror's children is praised, Having realized this, the tradition of those of good fortune is not satisfied by either path. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Having generated the common path necessary to supreme Mahayana paths, the cause and result. Rely on the protector of skillful master, and then to the great ocean of the classes of mantra. Then, through reliance on complete and perfect instructions, make the attainment of your leisures and endowments meaningful. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Due to the virtue from explaining in clear words. The perfect complete path leads into the conquerors, so as to please one and to benefit others of good fortune. I make the prayer, may all traits my gratitude be never be parted from the excellent pure path. You, the perfect Guru, practice in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice this way.
Page 31 for the short mandala.
Böje Jonje Medo Dang Rega Lenshi Ninde Genpa De
Sangye Jinde Medo Aji
Doga Nanda Jenla Jevara Sho Jete Lame Dante Radeji Naga Dele Joju Jewa Dang Lo San Tenbe Dume Sasan Kwe Meze Dado Ne Gyoji
Guru Due to the merit of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May Supreme Jewel Bodhicitta, as not arise and grow, may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. Whatever slight potential I may have created, by paying homage, offerings, and acknowledging my faults, the Buddha's stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for full awakening. I dedicate all these roots of virtue. Praise is the The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Savor of the sublime teachings and transmigratory beings. Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. You who uphold the subduous moral way, preserving and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplished magnificent prayers honoring the three jewels. Savior of myself and now as your disciples, please live long. By relying on the two accumulations of myself and others in the three times, may the teachings of the conqueror Losang Chakpa blaze for a long time.